So at this stage, it's just a case of getting the sand in. Yes, next up now, it is hardscape time. So look, sometimes you'll just do things and be like, that doesn't work for me. So Matt's here on his day off. All right, sweet. So yeah, I'm gonna have these ones here. That should work well. So boiling up all the botanicals will remove a lot of the sort of tint that comes out of them, the brownness. What's going on, beautiful people? In today's video, we're gonna be building an awesome little Blackwater style Bettascape. Not with fully tinted water though. I still wanna be able to actually see the fish. Now the tank I'm gonna be using is this one here, and the filter is actually that one behind it, but more on that later. Now I did have this set up, but for some reason it just failed. It didn't do well. None of my shrimp survived in this tank, even though all the other tanks around it, I've just got sort of shrimp dotted. Oh, it's too dark. There's shrimp in all of them, especially this one below here. We've got tons of different shrimp just climbing around on everything. So yeah, sometimes these things happen. Some work really well, some don't. I think this one worked really well because it's got quite a lot of the rock in it. It was keeping the sort of hardness up in the water. Anyway, enough of that. We're gonna do a cool little Bettascape and it's gonna look awesome. But first things first, we need to get a substrate system in there. You know the drill by now, little packets with aqua soil in. So we've got our little mesh bags here. You can see through them. This is what the aqua soil needs to go in. And then the roots can actually penetrate this absolutely fine of any plants. We're not going for many plants because it's a Blackwater setup, but they're going to want to be able to penetrate this and get some nutrients, and they can with that size. You picking it up? Yeah. Anyway, then we've got the tropical aqua soil as well. Get it in the tank. These bags are always like suctioned shut, and then as soon as you open them a bit, well, they slop down like that. I've spilt it so many times. And I think one jug like that is going to be enough. We'll do half and half in each of these little media bags, I guess they're called. There we go, half in that one, and then half in that one as well. And then we can just chuck them in. And because we only put half in each bag, look, they lay down nice and flat and don't get too bulky. Put them right in the middle like that. And any roots will find them. You don't have to be right to the edges. Doesn't matter, there's some gaps missing either. Now next, on top of all that, we want to place in some API root tabs. I use these in all of my tanks. I think the results pretty much speak for themselves, don't they? All of my tanks have real luscious growth. All the plants grow so fast. Those were only planted a few days ago, they're already going to the top. I use API root tabs in all my substrate systems, and also I use leaf zone as well once a week. So as many of you know, API and Aquarian have been sponsoring the channel for a long time now. They support me massively, and I fully believe in these companies. They're brilliant at what they do. I use a massive range of API products when I'm building the tanks, maintaining them, and just throughout the whole life of the tank in general. And I use lots of the different types of aquarium food for feeding my fish. I have got a lot of fish in here nowadays, and they just absolutely love this stuff. My absolute favorite is the sinking pellets. The Cories go crazy for them. I'll put a clip up now of the Cories going crazy for them. So yeah, throughout the video, you're going to see me using lots and lots of the API products in building the tank. It's what I do every time with massive success, and I'm hugely confident that you will have success too with the products I use and the knowledge you gain by watching my videos. So what I do now is I take the API root tabs, probably just going to use 2 to be honest for this little tank, pestle and mortar, chuck them in. Bit of a break up. Now you don't have to do this step. You could just break them up a little bit by hand if you haven't got one of these, but I've got one, so I might as well use it. And I can then just sprinkle this, look, all over the top, making it go into the soil, around the back area, look, a little bit at the front as well. There we go, sort of spreads it everywhere, doesn't it? Brilliant. Now on top of this, we can put our sand that's going to cap all of this down. I want to go for a nice whitey sort of bright sand, because in a Blackwater, it tends to work really well when you do it like that. And down here, I've got quite a good selection actually, I just picked them out. This is like a proper beachy sand. And then this one here is a more coarse, very whitey sand. Hang on. Looks kind of corally, look, doesn't it? And then I've got one that's more sort of, it's more sort of yellowy and natural looking. I mean, I suppose that makes it. Maybe I can use that for detail, but I want to go with this one to cap everything. So at this stage, it's just a case of getting the sand in, and we can mess about with heights and things in a moment. Obviously, we need a good inch or so on top of all of the aqua soil just to properly cap it all in. And I'm actually thinking, to be honest, with a nice big substrate system in here, we can actually go no filter. It's only going to have a little betta fish in there, and that's not going to be any sort of bioload at all. So We could easily do that. I'll have to put a few more plants in and a lot of floating plants, but that'll work really well with the Blackwater look. Okay, I'm just sort of roughly flattening it out here. I'm not taking too much care over it, just getting it sort of even. Now I'm going to test there. Look, right, there's a good amount there. It comes up to there in terms of planting depth. I'm going to have other gravel on top of this as well, so I think that'll be enough at the moment. It's a really nice beachy colour though, isn't it? Yeah, I'm liking that. Yes, next up now it is Hardscape time, favourite bit. So I've got quite a bit to choose from. This is organised chaos, by the way. So I've got some different small pieces of gravel and things dotted at the back there, lots of smaller pieces of wood there, some there. That tends to be bigger pieces. And then I've got really big pieces all up there, so we won't be needing any of them. But I don't think I want thick, chunky like pieces in this tank. I want sort of more straight, I don't know, ones that come right out of the water, but don't take up a huge amount of space, because I want to be able to put those plants in, don't I? Right, at the moment, I'm not sure of anything, as always, so I'm placing it in. I definitely want a triangular composition though. Wood coming out the top like that. Possibly a bit more height as well. There we go, wood up there too. All right, let's try and keep this going. That looks cool, bit of angle. So we've got that so far, which to me looks pretty good. It looks like it's all one actual piece. And I'm gonna want something else in the other corner, maybe a little bit more forward in this section, something really high at the back. I'm not even sure yet. I do need to leave some space for a few rocks, for our detailed gravel, and for the botanicals that I'm gonna be collecting later from Made Ahead Aquatics. They've got some new ones in. Oh, they look so good. See, for me, this could work, but it's not going to, because I've developed this kind of flow angle there, and then this is just, so I want to kind of get something that continues it on, maybe. Okay, this is what I've come up with. I've tried to keep that flow going as suggested. Oh, it's way too, I don't even like it. I'm not using that. So look, sometimes you'll just do things and be like, that doesn't work for me. I think the reason this isn't working is because it's too many small pieces without one main bit. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, sometimes if you're not happy, you just got to take it out and have another go. It's the best thing to do. It's good practice as well, isn't it? So I've now got a bigger piece here, which is probably too big for this tank, but I want to give it a go. I want to go big, try something different. How does that look? Looks pretty awesome, to be fair, doesn't it? Now, if I'm going to use this, I feel like I need to bring it a little bit more central, and that gives me more options with planting and everything behind it. I mean, there's still going to be plenty of space in here for the Betta fish. They don't like tons and tons of water volume. They can swim right around it and everything like that. It'll keep the lighting levels down as well. It'll give areas for the floating plants to clump. Let's give it a go. It has got this sort of weird dead algae on it though, so I'm going to need to get that blasted off first. There we go, all looking good again. And I shall go for my usual trick of adding loads of gravel now in the back section to create more height, areas to plant into, and just to give it that sort of graded look as it comes out. But obviously before that we need some rocks, you know, a little bit more wood for detail, just more in general, because I mean that's quite simplistic. Don't get me wrong, sometimes simplistic can work, but that's normally if you've got a full planted tank because you're using the plants to create details. Well, this is Blackwater, so we need like wood, debris and all that. Why do I keep shaking my hand in front? Right, so I've got a few nice smaller rocks to go in. This one's Sirius stone. One there sort of looks good. See how that's sort of carrying on the direction? And then it'll be a good idea to add one here as well because we're a bit thin on the sand in this area. And again, that carries on this direction. So you've got kind of like a cross between the two. And then I've got just a few smaller ones here. Oh, I think I just scratched the glass, never mind. Yeah, just for a bit more detail in that foreground. A couple more dotted about. I'm not being like careful with this, look, just placing it anywhere. There's going to be so much leaf litter, you might not even see a lot of this, to be honest. Yeah, there we go, really strong start. Now we need to add in some detail gravel, more coarser stuff first, all the way at the back, and a little bit around each rock. Here we go then, I've got some nice detailed gravel. Just fill out that back section to begin with. Here we go, now I've got lots. So yeah, back section first, and in that gap. I'm sort of letting it just fall wherever it wants to. It's actually looking quite good. And the other side as well. I want even more over here because this is where I want lots of plants to go. And then just sprinkle some in areas where the the stones didn't sort of get to bounce to. So like right in front here, just a little bit because that sort of keeps it realistic then, doesn't it? Okay, so like that, it kind of looks a bit odd because you've got all that gravel at the back, then not so much the foreground. When we start putting different things like plants and the pods and the leaves and everything like that, you won't be able to see such a sort of obvious difference between the foreground and the background. I've now got a sort of finer gravel or coarse sand to go on top, even more detail then. Yeah, this stuff here, it's like a Kamishi sand. You can see it's similar to that other stuff, just a completely different grain size. Again, with this one, I'm just gonna let it go where it wants. Oh, come on, look at that. It's like it's real. Right, next thing, I need to stick that piece of wood to these rocks because I think it will sink. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to fill this up with water. Oh no. No. So you all know the drill by now. Cyanoacrylate superglue gel. Just make sure the contact points are firmly there. Get some gravel out of the way if it's in the way, and make sure you've stuck it down as many points as you can, because trust me, when this becomes buoyant, this wood, it really does just rip the glue off if it's not fully set. Right, so I've glued it on that side there, right at that joint, and then also down that side. That should be enough because I'm pretty sure I have had this wood underwater before, but I just done that to be certain. Now leave it a few hours, when we come back it'll be all good. So it has been a few hours, we're stuck enough to keep working. It won't be solid for like, I don't know, a day or so, but I've just found some twigs lying around. They're all good, they're all dry, and I've used them before in other scapes. I just forgot I completely had them, and they're on a shelf at the back. I'm thinking if I do something like this, something like that, just subtle, but just gives a little bit more sort of chaotic look to it. Have I made that up? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It goes against everything else, and I feel like it kind of gives it a bit more of a natural feel. So to continue that theme, I might just do another little one down here. Oh, there we go. Loving that. I think I've nailed it. A little bit more detail, interest in some of those areas. They're going to be coming up, you see, because we're going to have the botanicals on the bottom. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. Looking natural, isn't it? Liking it. So I now want to be putting my first plants in. I'm going to start from the back and work forward with this one. I'm going to go for dwarf sage in that background just to give a punchiness of green, but also that gets that height in there as well. You'll only be seeing hints of it through the floating plants, but I think it'll be a really nice backdrop. Now, dwarf sage is one of those plants that's absolutely brilliant for low-tech tanks. It just doesn't need a ton of light. It's so vibrant and green, and you literally can't go wrong with it in any scape. I don't think so anyway. It's one of my absolute favourites. Now, the lower your lighting, the sort of more lengthy the leaves of the dwarf sage get. So these leaves here were grown in sort of low light, and they'll be in low light once we've got the floating plants in as well. A few more. I don't want to go too crazy because this stuff spreads. It sends out runners that will just come everywhere eventually. It's quite easy to pick it out though. There we go. We've got a good few little plants there. They'll all sort of stand up when the water's in, obviously. Next up, a few more bits of detail in the foreground. I've got some dwarf hairgrass that I saved from a previous Aquascape. Yeah, it's down here, look. Nice root systems on it, and it's growing quite nicely. I only want a few bits for detail, and that should look pretty good, to be honest. Now, given the low lighting down in these bottom areas, I'm not expecting a huge amount of growth from the actual hairgrass, but just sitting there looking pretty, adding a bit of detail here and there. That's the main goal of it, really. And don't get me wrong, it might spread. I'm just not expecting it to. I'm mainly just putting it in for, you know, effect, really. And the last thing I want to add is a few pieces of Bucephalandra. This is Bucephalandra Red, and some Anubias Petite as well. I think that'll look great in there. Oh, I think this boost will look great. Just tucked in here. Yes, 100%. And then another bit of boost on this side. Oh, that just works, doesn't it? You can basically put boost anywhere, and it just looks so good. Look at a close up. Look at the leaves. Oh, brilliant. And then I'm thinking just a little bit of Anubias up here. We can, again, use the super glue gel to stick it. This particular one's got quite a lot of the sort of roots coming down. I think that really adds to the detail of the whole tank. So, the scape, sorry. So I'm just gonna keep those. Tends to give it like a much more aged look, doesn't it? I love that. Right, I think that's what I want to go for now. I want more planting and more float plants, or everything like that. But first of all, got to fill the tank up. That means also that these plants won't dry out. We can add more as needed and take our time with it as well. So now that we're filling our tank up nice and slowly, it's time to add another API product. And this one is Aqua Essential. It's brilliant, brilliant stuff. I use this all the time. Basically, if you're getting water out of your tap, you need to have this. It removes all the chlorine, the chloramines, and the heavy metals. It removes ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, and you can use it freshwater and saltwater. It's so, so good. In higher concentrations, it will pull out the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. In the lower concentrations, which is what I'm going to be using today, we'll remove the chlorine and chloramines from this tank, and that's what we want at this stage, because there's not going to be any nitrate, nitrite, or ammonia to start with. But later on after setup, which we'll talk about as the video goes on, you can use this product to remove any of those nasties. It works really, really well. And then for the second product, we have got API Quick Start. This stuff is cheat code level. I absolutely love it. This is like my absolute favorite product. Basically, it means you can cycle your tank straight away. So it allows instant addition of fish, limits toxic ammonia and nitrate, helps prevent fish loss, immediately starts aquarium cycle, contains live nitrophane bacteria, all natural. So I never lose any fish, guys. And as many of you know, I put quite a few fish in straight away in my setups. This combined with daily testing when you first set things up, you cannot go wrong. If there's any problems after you test, you can just do a little water change, add some more quick start in. Like I say, I never get problems when I do it like this. Oh, that is starting to look wicked. Like I say, that's all the plants that I want to put in for now. I want to now go to the shop and get some botanicals. I said earlier, Matt from Maidenhead Aquatics, they've got some new botanicals in. I'm going to go there, check them out, and let's just get some really interesting pieces to go down here. Oh, it's going to look so good. So Matt's here on his day off to help me pick out some botanicals for the new tank. So far we've got this lot, but look, behind us down here, we've got all this as well. New delivery, right?
Yeah, we haven't even got the delivery out yet. But you just couldn't wait.
First dibs.
Couldn't wait for us to get it all organised.
There is a lot here. So we've got some awesome stuff here, haven't we, Matt?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I've never seen half of this stuff before. Like, I mean, I have seen them, but on, you know, other people's videos, never my own. What is this?
Lotus Pods.
Ah.
So they're the like the big sort of tropical water lily, I suppose you would say, and they're the seed pods for it.
That'll work because that's small. I'm loving these little guave. Guave?
Yeah.
Guave.
Isn't that what's on? That's what's in lilt, isn't it? And tropical drink.
I don't know.
No. Right.
I mean, you're just a
Maybe
wealth
not
of knowledge.
beans.
So yeah, I would hope not. I mean,
Bit crunchy.
Yeah, getting your teeth, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We've got mulberry leaves, so that's cool. I want to put those in to add a bit of green down in that bottom section. Tell you what, these sticks would have been brilliant from the start. You know, remember at the start of the video I was trying to do like sort of lots of thinner sticks, but they didn't look right. Well, these just naturally, instantly look rooty, and you could put them in like that, couldn't you?
Yeah, they're a proper little, like, I know they're not mangrovey, but yeah, you get a real nice effect if you could sort of maybe glue several together.
Yeah, that's good. Which I will do.
That's
just in
really
another
quick,
build.
isn't it?
Yeah,
just
it's like
three of them, done, stick it in the corner, finished.
Instant build.
Yeah.
And I like in these as well. It says cinnamon sticks.
Nice. You
Basically, I'm liking anything
put them
that's
in
small.
your tea.
Really?
I don't know. You have cinnamon at Christmas, don't you? That'd be nice.
We've got the pods as well. One of those could possibly work. We do one of those. But look, basically, you've got a ton here now. You're going to have a whole sort of Blackwater section, aren't you?
Yes, that's the plan. That's the next sort of step, I suppose, in the next evolution
over there.
of the
Is
shop.
it over there, is it?
Yeah, hopefully somewhere over the back near the office. Yeah, I don't know. We're sort of trying to contain all our wooden rocks over there, but it's starting to encroach on the rest of the shop. So I think we might just take over the whole shop with aquascaping and leaves.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's all the stuff that the staff and people enjoy, so why not?
So you've also, we've got a new tank coming to do a massive discus Blackwater escape, haven't we?
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
So it's the bigger version of this one.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it, hopefully, over on the back. We'll shut where that door is. Will be shut, and there'll be all lighting.
Sneaky peek of the jacket, look.
Oh, yeah, can you see the jacket? The jacket. It's like it's waving at us.
Yeah, it's hung up ready for when we build that tank.
All right, sweet. So yeah, I'm going to have these ones here. That should work well.
Should we just wheel this trolley out to your car?
Yeah, it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just order more in.
Yeah, just do that. We'll just give you this.
So boiling up all the botanicals will remove a lot of the sort of tint that comes out of them, the brownness, but it does mean that they'll sink straight away, and that's what I want for the Aquascape. They will still release tannins, but just a lot less. And I don't want this water completely black, so that works perfectly for me. So the tank is now ready for our awesome botanicals. Some of these are a lot larger than I actually thought. I'm not even sure if this will sink. Yeah, let's get some air out. Yes, I mean, we've got to have that in there, surely. That's quite a cool feature, isn't it? What am I thinking? Kind of central, main focal point. It's kind of like you've got to use this. You've got to Aquascape botanicals as well. Over at the side, does that continue the wood down? Yeah, I think it kind of does. And then we can use the lotus seed once we get some of the air bubbles out. Oh, no, still got some. No, that one's not staying down. I might have to glue a rock to that one to get it to go in place. I definitely want to though. You can then place some of the other leaves just in the foreground here. Oh, we've got the mulberry leaf. We've got the cinnamon sticks. Come on, everything sink please. There's nothing worse than when it all starts floating. We fit a lot more back in that section, can't we? Now, like I say, all of these leaves will continue to release tannins the whole time. So we've removed quite a lot of the tannins, but there's still going to be some that just continue to leach out, especially with the amount that we're putting in here. I'm trying to push this one underneath the Bousiphalandra because I still want to be able to see the plant. Oh, this is already looking sweet. Oh, it's looking so good. And then the final piece here is the Lotus Pod. I've just glued this little rock to it. What that means, I can then place it this side. I think that's going to sort of, oh my goodness, no, that didn't work. Hang on. So much air in it. There we go. Look at that, it looks really good there. I like that. Beautiful. Oh yes, I'm absolutely loving that. Now usually for Blackwater, you tend to not get any of the green in it as well, but the mulberry leaf, the Bousiphalandra, the Anubias and that dwarf sage at the back, and the dwarf headgrass as well, to be fair. It's all adding extra elements to it. Now that's still too bright in my opinion for a true Blackwater, so we need some awesome floating plants in the top as well. And we've got loads to choose from. So down in the awesome shrimp mountainscape I've got here, which by the way, all the plants are completely carpeting. There's no CO2 in this tank. All there is this budget little strip light and a tiny little internal filter, which barely flowing now, to be honest, but it's working a treat. Anyway, we've got the mini water lettuce at the back there. There's some more bits of duckweed which aren't doing great. I guess that's because there's not a huge amount of nutrients available for them. And in the Amazon tank, we've also got some Salvinia you can see up here. We've got loads of red root floaters down in this storage tank. They're looking good, definitely some of those. The old shrimp forest really has turned into a forest. We've got loads in here, to be honest. There's loads to choose from. We've got plenty anyway. So yeah, we've definitely got to get some of this water lettuce going in, haven't we? Look at that. So that's another good thing about the sage at the top here. It actually sort of holds the water lettuce in place in this back area. So with that, with the roots coming down, should look great. Yeah, I was right. Look at that, adding that extra sort of background area there. So good, so many textures so far. And then next up, we've got some of the Salvinia as well. This one stays kind of short and doesn't get too long roots, so kind of perfect for this size tank, really. A few other bits floating in with it as well, but that's all right. I'm pushing it around so it sort of gets trapped a little bit at the edges. Obviously we haven't got any flow in this tank, so we can make it sit where we want it to. And then last but not least, a little portion of the red root floaters as well. Dot them sort of amongst it all. And there we have it, folks, what I think is an awesome little Blackwater scape for a little Betta. Now, speaking of Betta fish, what's going in here? Well, it's going to be a fish that many of you have seen before, but not for a while. So this little guy right here is Hellboy. And when I first got him, come around buddy. So he's kind of hard to see at the moment. So when I first got him, his whole face was red. It's now gone very, very blue. He's got some awesome lips on him. Anyway, he's not enjoying it in here. Let's put him in his new home. Now we don't need to worry about temperature acclimation or anything like that. I heat the rooms, guys, so there's a lot of tanks, remember. So heating the rooms becomes far more sort of energy efficient than each individual tank. Come on then, buddy, let's get you into your brand new home. You are gonna love it. Oh, look at that, he looks great already. Straight away I can see you looking good. Are you in a strop with me? Come on, come to the front. He's just exploring at the moment. Actually, I can come around here, can't I? Oh, he's coming around. There we go. So look at this, it's so much like the natural habitat. Lots of different sort of bits of vegetation and that for the fish to swim through. Straight away seems to be at home. I mean, he is a very cool fish. Like I say, he was massively bright. Oh, he was massively bright red all over. And now he's just got the red on the bottom. And look, when he gets in the light a bit more, Yeah, look at that. He's always had those awesome lips on him though. Seems to be really enjoying the environment though. Like, he's not stressed, he's actually exploring. I'm not sure if he's trying to flare as well there, which is, you know, normal behaviour for a Betta fish. He really does seem to be enjoying the environment, doesn't he? Like, he's going around left and right. Doesn't seem to be stressed because he's not going too fast. He's coming forward to see me. Hello, buddy. So the good thing is about all these botanicals, they are going to provide so much sort of, I don't know, housing, is that the right word? So the good thing about all these botanicals is they're going to provide so many surfaces for all beneficial bacteria to colonise, you know, and they'll sort of break down as well and just make one big living organic machine. And actually, versus the background, it's already got a slight tint to it. I'm not sure if it's showing on the camera, but I can see that there's more of a sort of green tone to the water. I actually really like that as well. Now, could I add other fish with this Betta? Probably not. He's lived on his own for like well over a year now. I know you can put fish with Bettas. If you go to your shop and you're buying one and it's in a tank with a load of fish and they're all alive, then odds are that you can probably take some of those fish and put them in with your Betta. So like in this tank, some chilivosporas might be really cool. Again, I don't know how he's going to be with those, and I haven't got that many chilivosporas, so I don't want to risk putting them in with him. But so he'll be absolutely fine on his own anyway. I think I'll probably put some snails in here because they'll really help with like cleaning everything. Yeah, here we go. Look, got some pond snails and ram's horn snails. Perfect. Betta's interested straight away. You liking those, Howboy? You get a little bit more comfortable now? Seem to be. Look, all the colours look so good together, especially with that little pop of red at the top. I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. This is so simple and it looks so detailed, but again, it's just the botanicals making it appear that way. Why don't we say we give them some food as well? So the food I feed all my Bettas is the Aquarian tropical and temperate flake food. It's so good. When I use this, I don't get that oily substance on the top. It's absolutely perfect. All the fish are healthy, and you can crumble it up as well, depending on the size of fish that you want, or leave it whole for big fish. Okay, here we go. This Betta is pretty aware of this food and he loves it, but I'm just wondering if he's going to be a little bit scared today. There you go. It's coming down. Is he going to go for it? Yay, good boy. Yeah, as expected, loves that food, munch, munch, munch. And he's just looking fantastic, such a healthy, he's a plaquette. Is it plaquette or placat? Placat's better, I think it's placat. P-L-A-K-A-T, yeah, placat Betta. Look at this environment, absolutely loving it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one too. Something very simple that you guys can all try. Get yourself some, you know, botanicals, a little bit of wood. Not very many plants, to be honest, either, is there? If you live in a colder climate or you don't heat the room to tropical temperatures like me, it's summer actually and it's so hot in here right now. If you don't heat your room, you'll need to put in a heater for your Betta so it's of a good temperature. And also, because this is a no filter tank, although we've added the quick start, I'll be doing water testing every single day just to make sure that there's no sort of nasties or ammonia spikes or anything like that. We should be all good though. There's quite a good amount of plants, so especially when you think about the amount of floating plants we've got there, they're all going to be pulling ammonia, nitrate, everything out of the water to be able to grow. So we're all good in that sense, but I will be testing every day. Yeah, every day I'll use my freshwater master test kit from API. It's test everything I need to know. If I need to do a water change or something like that, it just tells us straight away what the quality is. If it's not good enough, 50% water change, 50% back in again, and we should be good to go. Coming the next day, it should be getting better every day, but to be honest, with the amount of plants, floating plants, I think that this tank will be absolutely perfect. We've only got a small little Betta in there, tiny little bioload, and it will cycle and create bacteria faster than it's generating waste in this instance. But again, if you're going to be doing this, you need to have a test kit on hand. Any signs of any ammonia or nasties in the water, do a big water change. And last but not least, there's a good amount of plants in there now. Let's add some leaf zone. Only need half a capful in this instance. Look at that.